confederations are a conglomeration of states because it's easier to control 7 or 8 confederations than it is 192 states. You're not going to control 192 states. That's how they know the world government is no longer feasible, no longer possible. That's why they're bringing them into these super confederations, because it's much easier to control 7 or 8 super confederations, each consisting of, who knows, in the case of the North American Union, 3 former nation states. In the case of the European Union, gosh, how many nation states are in the EU, former nation states? And so on and so forth. There will be one African Union, and what is there, 54 states on the African continent? If I'm not mistaken, it's 52 or 54. Man, it's maybe 52 states on the African continent, to include the few islands that surround on the east and the west side. Much easier to control it from a central command, which is the ultimate goal of these globalists, and that's exactly what they are. They're globalists. They want to control, they want to dominate the globe. And how do you do that? Well, you eliminate borders and eliminate identity and eliminate what people cling to that gives them strength. Like identity, and how do you, through your culture. That's why I speak to culture so often, and that's why I speak to identity so often. Because through a shared identity, through a shared culture, you derive your individual strength, and from your individual strength, you want to produce, not because you're greedy. That's just a natural human element. That speaks right to human nature. That's all you have to say there. So you want to produce, and so you come together with others to produce, in whatever capacity that may be. And then the society benefits as a result of that. Well, it's always the greed, and it's always the slothfulness, and all the other 7 deadly sins that come in and infect the human mind when some humans inevitably will become insatiable. And their appetite for, and their lust for what we would consider to be sinful is out of control, and therefore they contribute to the demise of society through the erosion of cultural mores and norms. Remember, Tocqueville talked about the cultural, and I oftentimes come back to Tocqueville because it's so prophetic, so prophetic. The book Democracy in America is prophetic. And the far lefties will talk trash about it all day long because they don't want to admit the truth and because it doesn't fit into their damn agenda. But Tocqueville talked about the significance, as we've said many times before, of cultural mores and habits, which are habits of the heart, and the norms, the social norms, and how those are more powerful than laws. And those dictate the laws, at least they used to, not anymore, because now we live under an entirely different system. We once were a constitutional republic. We now are a full-blown democracy moving into an oligarchy. That's what democracy is, one step away from an oligarchy. An oligarchy is a rule by the few who have everything, and they've consolidated everything, and they've used the governmental coercion to kill competition, monopolize and duopolize everything, and in doing so shutting the doors for any other potential business owners, any other potential people that could sit at the table and voice their